Hi, I'll probably have to rename this later, but we were learning about, yeah, we were learning about service containers. Where were we last time? Let's just double check. Um, oh, I lost track. Okay, cool. I'll have to find it again. So I believe he was throwing a exception at Jeffrey was throwing an exception somewhere. I just check.
Configured and
No, we did not import the PDO object yet. Yeah, here's where we were.
reverse it. What if we do our guarding at the beginning?
Yeah.
And I say, well, if not exists within the bindings, then yeah, we don't know what to do. We can't proceed. We have no idea what you want here. And in those situations, we can throw an exception.
Yeah.
Something like this: throw new exception. This is provided by PHP, and this is what you should do in exceptional situations. And then later, you can either catch those and respond to them however you need to, or you can just let them happen. Now, when we create an exception, we can give it a reason. So in this case, what is our reason? Well, we couldn't find a matching binding. So maybe, how about that? No matching binding found for your key. And yeah, once again, I can hit Option Enter and
Yeah, so he started to resolve the container in the DB variable, and I have died up the DB variable. He's container resolved. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. This is a exception case anyway.
PHP Storm and switch that to string interpolation if you like that just a little better. Otherwise, if we get to this point, we're good to go. So I can remove this, then reformat, and yeah, I think we are off to.
Yeah, I think we're good as well. Off to the races.
The races. Okay, so we know that we are requiring our Bootstrap class here, so why don't we just play around with this? Let's comment this out and then die and dump the database class to see if it's working properly.
That's what I did, see?
So if I switch to Firefox, there we go. We now have our data.
Mine isn't. Why is it not? Let me check. Let's debug this. It's been a while. Container PHP, line 22. Line 22 is this return function. Call user function resolver. Resolver is this binding key. Rest bindings key is here. This bindings and then whatever the key is. Right. At this moment there is no key. Right? Because unless I resolve this. So now there is database is the key. Now that this is the key, let's see. Container PHP line 22, we saw that. From there, stack trace takes us to Bootstrap line 13, which is here container is container resolve core database. Okay, goes to public index.php, which is this. Line 13. Require base path bootstrap PHP. Should I? No, I shouldn't. So bootstrap PHP. Why is it not? Did he require it? That's what he did, right? Let me check. I'll have to go all the way back to index.php. Remember 948, okay.
A lot of tweaking in order to instantiate. You might need a certain public key or a private.
He still has.
We have a string, which would be like an.
Okay, so this is in Bootstrap PHP, but in index, how does he call it? Inside index. Yeah, here. Require base
path bootstrap.php. Okay.
Okay, what have I done? require base path bootstrap.php. Bootstrap.php. Okay, so this line seems fine. Okay, cool. Then we go to container resolve on line 13 here. Maybe I have not, so let's check 948 again. Here is his, yeah. Okay, DB is container resolve core database container resolve, yeah. Yeah, line 13 is fine. Container resolve core database. Let's just watch along.
Out and then die.
Wait, let me, sorry. So where's the resolve function here? The resolve method, I guess I should call it, is in the container class, which is over here. The resolve takes key if the key does not exist in the array, it throws an exception. Okay. But I haven't bound it yet, have I? Yeah, I did bind it here. Bound the key to array. So let me just die dump before I do this. Die dump, let me uncount dd container. Did I do that? I don't think I did for the factory function yet. I did it for a basic key value pair string. I think this is where our problem is. See, it points to nothing, object closure 0. So probably the function is incorrect, which is this. Okay, let's see. Here, function config require base path config.php. Function config require base path config.php. Okay. Return new database. What have I done? Return new database config.php. Okay, I've done the right thing. But then why is it not? Why is it not? Okay, object closure. But how about I do this? Get this as the dd. Can I do that? What am I doing? Yeah, let's try that. None. You know what I'll do? For each container as contained thing. I'll just say contained as contained. I know I'm supposed to. I should echo contained. This is stupid code. Let's see if it works. Why is it working? And more importantly, what is it doing? It's not echoing anything. Please echo. So it's an empty object. Is that doesn't make sense? Can I? You know what I'll do? I'll just undo all of this and look at the object again. I'm pretty sure this is where I'm messing up. Is it an object or is it an array? It's an object. Bindings are protected. Oh, okay. What? I've never seen this. So let me print bindings. I think I tried doing that before. Yeah, that didn't work. Maybe because it's protected. And then my thought was to take it public, but okay, let's just continue watching at this rate. That's fine.
And dump the database class to see if
Although I think I want to re-examine this bind core database function, config required, and return new database config. So when we're calling this bind, okay, we've called it right now from the container definition, which is here, key resolver return this bind. Let me see if his definition is correct. Signature, method signature is what he likes calling it.
is this binding
Pause. So the method signature is here. Yeah. Okay, so let's go bind this bindings key resolver, this bindings key, this bindings key resolver, and I'm returning it, right? No, I'm not returning it. Jesus Christ. Found it. Found the error. So I was returning a value instead of setting a value on the array. See, this is the problem. Okay, this. Now let me not do this and do this instead. I'm sorry. I thought we had to return this, but it makes no sense returning an assignment statement. Very little sense. Okay, let's go. Hopefully this will work. Of course it doesn't. Why is it not working? Let's check. Container line 22. This one. I'm calling the resolver. Right? Resolver is this binding key. Is it key or is it the variable key?
key?
It's the variable key. It's the variable key. It makes more sense. Sorry. Yeah, of course. If it doesn't exist, else move ahead. Let's go. Any more errors? I'm ready. Whew, no more errors, but thank you for troubleshooting this with me. You see how we just traversed the stack trace. It's a hard phrase to say. Traversed the stack trace using this. So user func was call user func was where the stack took us, and here I saw call user func, which takes in the resolver, and the resolver takes in key not as an associative array but the key variable, not literally the key. That was what was wrong. Let's go.
And then I want to call that function. And there's a couple ways to do this, but why don't we stick with call user func. This will accept the name of our function.
We did until
Database instance fully configured.
this was us, pod number 5 on PDO number 5. Statement is null. Yeah.
And ready to go, which is pretty cool. And yeah, also, if I were to instead resolve something that is not in the container.
Yeah, it should tell us bro doesn't exist. No?
Well, remember, we'd throw a new exception, right? So let's see if that works and what that looks like. I give it a refresh, and there we go. Uncaught exception.
Okay, let's see. If I just, instead of instantiating it, just say container resolve lol does not exist. I'm not getting the error here, but am I getting the error here? Yeah, uncaught exception. Lol does not exist in bindings, which is what I've written. Here, does not exist in bindings. Cool, so it works. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Here. I'm going to simplify this because I realize the screen looks a little complicated, the split screen. Plus it's also mirrored, so Jeffrey has bootstrap.php here and container.php here, and I have it the other way around. Sorry. Cool.
So notice when you throw an exception, you do have the option of catching it and then responding in some way, maybe a more graceful way. But I don't want to touch on that just yet. For now, this is fine. We throw an exception to let us know there was no binding for this. We didn't know what to do, so we just aborted entirely. Okay, cool. So I think this is looking good, at least for our first pass. But now, well, we have a new problem. Have a look. If I go into my destroy controller, well, how do I grab that container, right? Like, would I be in the exact same boat again where I basically have to build this up over and over? So now I have to do this just to grab my database? No, definitely not. It would defeat the entire purpose. Every time you need to use the container, you have to instantiate it. Why would you do that? Definitely not. But it does show that we need some place to build up our container and then have access to it from anywhere in the application.
I'll unpotato it. Yeah. Also, while we're buffering, all of these are essentially design patterns, and I'm not going to pretend to know what patterns they exactly are, but I want to get into DSA and design patterns after this, after I'm sufficiently proficient with this, because that is essentially a cheat code to understanding, really understanding programming. All of programming is basically 21 or so design patterns, out of which 8 are really important, that they're used all over. And this is probably one of those design patterns where he extracted some sort of logic and then is consuming it throughout the application. Let's continue watching.
Okay.
Also, if you know of any good DSA, data structures and algorithms, or design patterns courses around the PHP language, hit me up in chat or leave a comment, please. Thank you.
Okay, so to do that, I'm going to build up an app class. So just come along for the ride for a minute. I'm going to call it app.php. And I'm going to add a static method here called setContainer. A quick refresher just in case you forgot. A static method is one that can be called without having to first instantiate an object. So for example, with this method being static, I can then say app set container, just like that. If I did not have static here, yeah, of course I would have to build up a new instance of app, and then I could say, app set container. Okay, so let's keep it as static for now because this is going to be super helpful. Now, it's going to accept our container, and then I will store it. So why don't we create a static property called container, and then I will initialize it. Static container equals container. All right, so now when I call this method, I give it my container object, and all it does is it saves it on this property. It's the only thing it does right now.
Right, so you're going to consume it throughout by using app. You're probably going to use the namespace core here. Okay, let's see. We have app.php. Let me close up everything. Just close all and minimize this. I go to core and create app.php. Enter PHP mode. Use namespace would be core. Then that's how you say it, right? Or how is it? Yeah, that is how you say it. Then define a new class called app. Correct? Yeah, protected static container. Yeah, and public static. Public static, interesting. Function name is called set container. And let's define this method here. Static facade container is container. Okay. Container equals. It takes container. Right. Okay. Okay. Not sure I like this. Again, the method name. I don't know if this and this are. Yeah, they probably are. This and this, because they're italicized, they are. So this container is this container is this container.
All right, next I need to get the container so I can interact with it, right? So why don't we do this? Let's copy this method. And yeah, if you want, you could call it get. I guess that would be consistent and it's very common, but I don't really love using the get prefix if I don't have to. Why don't we just name it container? And all this is going to do.
Sure, call three things container inside one single class. This is container, this is container, this is container. Wow.
Is it will return this value here. It's going to return.
But it actually does make sense. Sorry.
Container to me. Okay, so now from.
Sorry, I protested before you had the chance to explain yourself. Or rather, explain the subject. Public static function container return static container. It doesn't take any arguments, obviously. Okay.
From anywhere in my application, I have this app class. And if I say app container, I get access to.
If he uses namespace up on top in namespace core, I'm going to be very happy and celebrate.
The container, and I can then interact with it. And this is an example of a singleton, but again, jargon.
Told ya, singleton is a pattern, design pattern, singleton. Cool, that's what it's called. But I'm not going to pretend like I know what it means, but I've just like heard of these things, so it helps. Singleton, cool.
Terminology, you don't need to worry about it right now. Okay, so let's give this a shot. And actually, real quick, can't forget to.
I'm gonna party. This is a party. Oh my god, I just love being right so often. Touch wood, touch wood, touch wood. I love this. Thank you.
Add the namespace here. All right, so I will come back to Bootstrap. So here we've instantiated our container. We've added our first binding. And don't forget, in real life, you'll do this dozens of times, potentially. And now I want to set the container like so. And I will pass that in. And
Interesting. So this is where we set the container once, and everywhere else throughout the app, we consume the container by just calling app container. Okay, we're in Bootstrap. And instead of this, what the heck? Return database. Container bind, yeah. So instead of doing any of this, you've just deleted it. Let's
do note to set. Don't forget, in real life, you'll do this dozens of.
Wait, what? Container database was
times potentially. And now I want to set the container like.
Sorry, did I miss something? Did he just? Oh, he just did not resolve it. Why though? I don't know why he didn't resolve it. Let me comment this out. He probably should resolve it, right? Because that's when Maybe it was just a test. I don't know.
Like so, and I will pass that in. And do note that I have imported app at the top.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the reminder. So this is alphabetical, I think, by convention. Core app. See, A, C, D. So A, B, C, D. Okay. I don't know, man. Set container. Okay. If you say so.
Top automatically by PHP Storm. All right, so I know we're covering a lot here. That's why we had that quick conversation at the beginning of the video.
Thank you.
If you need to, watch this 2 times, watch it 3 times, just to make sure you fully grok and understand what's going on here. Okay, I think we're ready to try this out.
Jeffrey at the start of the lecture, it's okay if you skip this, no one's gonna judge you. Jeffrey in the middle of the lecture, make sure you watch it 3 times, 4 times to make sure you fully understand what is happening. I love you, man.
So I'm going to go back to that destroy action on my controller where we were manually building up our database class, and I will comment it out. And instead, I want to say app container, give me the container. And then I want to, well, let's see what we want to do. On my container class, I want to resolve my database instance. So I say resolve, and then we give it a path to the class or the key that I want to resolve out of the container.
Right, which is what we'd done in the bootstrap.php file, which he, I think, edited it out.
And once again, I'm just going to die and dump the DB class to make sure that everything's working the way we'd expect. All right, and then let's go to notes. And I'm sorry, we don't even have a note here. Let's add one super quick. We view it, we click delete, that will hit our destroy controller, and then we should die and dump the database object, and everything is working.
Wow, okay, let's do this then. So I've set the container here. I'm gonna go to controllers and notes. Let me keep things simple. Oh, this doesn't even take in anything. Destroy does though. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna comment this out. And I will consume app. What is it called? Controller. See, it helps having IntelliSense, so I'll just use, not use, I'll use core app. Okay, now that I have a controller, I'm gonna, what's it? What did we call the controller? We assigned it to a variable, I believe. Yeah. Controller. No, not controller. Container. Container. This makes more sense. Not a comma, a semicolon. So he assigned it to the variable db, which is used throughout the app, I think, over here. Yeah, see here it's used. Okay. So not just any container, but it is resolving it. Resolve core database. I don't think I need to use core database up there. I can just, I don't need to import it is what I mean. Can I comment this out too? Yeah, I guess. And then he's DDing the DB object, DDDB. Fun saying that. I'm getting deja vu saying DDDB. Refresh, hope it still works. Notes. Let me delete this. Yeah, it does work. Let's go.
Dump the DB class to make sure that everything's working the way we'd expect. All right, and then let's go to notes. And I'm sorry, we don't even have a note here. Let's add one super quick. We view it, We click delete, that will hit our destroy controller, and then we should die and dump the database object, and everything is working. Very, very cool. Okay, so now if we did everything correctly, all of this stuff here can now be replaced with our container. App container resolve our database. Pretty cool. And in fact, if you want, I'll show you a little tip. Notice how I am manually writing out the path to our database class. But as it turns out, if you just reference the class name itself and then : class,
Wow.
that will basically translate to a string of the full namespace path to the class. And if you even want to inline it, you could do this. And that way you get some auto-completion, some IntelliSense. You might prefer that. It's still going to work the same. Okay, cool. But now I want to focus on some creature comforts. It would be nice if I didn't have to say app, container, resolve, database. Wouldn't it be cool if I could just say like app, resolve, and then it just works? And real quick, by the way, I would almost always import this, so I will bring that back. But yeah, wouldn't it be cool if I...
Okay, I'll do that too. I'll bring it back. And you just want me to do class without the string. Interesting.
If I could just say app resolve, and then the app class would delegate to the container class and give me what I need. Okay. The problem is right now, the resolve method is defined on container right here and not on app. But think about it. You're in charge. Is there anything preventing you from just having a static method here called resolve, and then you give it the key? No. And if you're instead thinking, well, there's nothing preventing you, but you're adding a bunch of duplication. No, I'm really not. I'm not reproducing everything I have here. I'm just deferring. I'm delegating. So the app class can say, okay, well, let's grab our container, and then I will call resolve and pass through the key. You see how it's just kind of passing it through? App is just, it's adding an importance here. Yeah, you can call resolve, and if you do, I'm just going to delegate it over to the container class. It just makes for a more, I don't know, friendly and intuitive API.
Okay, makes sense, I guess. App pub stat func resolve, and I'm gonna return container resolve key. This is fun. Oh, static container resolve key. Not return it. So, public static func resolve key, public static func resolve key, static container resolve key, static container. Container should be a function. Right. So what are we doing here? Just like we instantiated the container class, we set the container over here, and then we're getting the container over here, and then we're resolving it with the key. So I don't need to in destroy, I don't need to do all of this. I can just say app resolve. Yeah, can I? Or do I have to? Yeah, I have to. Yeah. So app resolve database class.
To access it directly off of the app class. Okay, so with that in mind, maybe we should do the exact same thing for bind.
Wow.
Bind, and then of course I will need a resolver.
Yeah, we're not duplicating it, I guess. Arguable. Uh, I'm on the fence here, but I'm gonna defer to what Jeffrey did because I have a bias towards action. Bind key resolver. Resolver, and instead of resolving it, it's binding. Bind, excuse me. So I'll show you what was happening. Okay, shush for a second. I was at app here, right? So the bind and resolve method definitions are here. So this is what I'm doing. I'm basically passing that information to here and save with this. So yeah, I guess it's not duplication. Why is destroyer yelling at me? Okay, let's see.
Okay, cool. And again, those delegate. Okay, and then of course I want to return the result here. Okay, so now if I come back.
Wow, I was right. You had to return it. Ha ha ha. You don't have to return the binding, by the way, because that's something you're adding to the application state. Yeah, now destroy will stop yelling at me. Yeah, you did. Thank you. Because I wasn't returning the resolution, the object, DB object, I guess. Yeah.
Back to our destroy controller. Yeah, ideally, hopefully, this will just work. Let's give it a shot. View the node, click delete, and everything works.
Okay. View the node. Read it from get, click delete. I am actually still DDing this, so I'll do this. View the node, click delete, and everything works.
Just like it did before, but now we are resolving things out of the container, which means, yeah, I can switch over to any place I was referencing this before and swap out that instantiation with a reference to our container, as you see here. So let's do that.
Cool, let's do this. Copy. We're doing it in index. We were doing this in show. And store as well, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Show store. Why are you not? I just updated you. Get, yeah. Get was a little slow. I'm just not doing it in create.
Paste this one in as well. Is there one here?
Yeah.
Yes, there is. There we go. All right, so we're about done here. But finally, to wrap up, some quick closing thoughts. Yeah, just keep in mind that the container we've built here is incredibly simple on purpose to demonstrate the general pattern. But yeah, once you graduate to a dedicated service container that, for example, Laravel provides, you will find that it does so much more. It has support for singletons, where you get the same instance no matter how many times you resolve it. And that would be very useful in the example of our database class here, by the way. It also has support for things like automatic dependency resolution, which is a fancy term that just means there are situations where you wouldn't even need to specify how to build up an object. The container could possibly do it for you auto-magically, to use a made-up word there. And yeah, basically, it will look at the class, and then it will look at the dependencies on the constructor. And then don't forget, each dependency could have its own dependency, and those sub-dependencies could have their own dependencies.
Oh my God.
And yeah, the container could recursively go through each of those and build it all up on the fly. And it's really cool, but far beyond the scope of a beginner series. So yeah, this is the container that we're gonna stick with for now. And hopefully it was useful to you. Finally, our app class provided a way to basically make this container singleton available anywhere within our application. All right, so please do ask your questions below. Otherwise, onward to the next lesson, as always.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's do a quick recap. The entry point is, let me just smallify all of this first. Close all. Entry point is still public index. Yeah, and it takes us to, this is barely changed, I think. Yeah, okay, cool. So I require the bootstrap path from here. Bootstrap creates a new container and binds the core database object to that container. Then it sets the container here as well. Okay. Now we're looking at the app, I believe. Here it is. App is essentially setting, see, where is app set container? Bootstrap. App set container. Let's look at the definition here. Set container is essentially just taking the static container, making it consumable throughout the application namespace wherever you're importing it, like we did at the end. It is being used in, let's just look at the container here as well for a second. It has some things to bind, so this I should have done over here. Container class. So it binds a key and a resolver, and if you're resolving this, then it returns the resolver. Okay. Now, if you're looking at any of the controllers that are consuming the app namespace, for example here, resolve database. So this is the same as just pushing this, and that's what we're doing pretty much throughout the app instead of these few lines. So we wrote 20 lines of code to avoid duplicating. Sure, that's fine. I guess there's a more important lesson to be learned here. But for now, I think that's enough for today. I can't pretend to know all of this. Honestly, I think I've understood maybe like 10 or 20%, but it's an unknown for me. So please take that with huge lumps of salt. This was, regardless, a very useful lesson. Thank you so much to Jeffrey for making this available for free. Please do check out laricast.com, and the whole tutorial series is available on YouTube as well. It's an 11-hour series. The links to both of those are in the description of this video. Thank you for